Hamish Allan-Headley, welcome inside the Crazy Ant Farm, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, man. Thank you. Very happy to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, dude, we are so excited to talk to you. We've got a lot of listeners that are huge fans of the show, Mayor of Kingstown, and huge fans of the character.
Yeah.
Like Robert is a fucking badass, bro. Like if I'm going in somewhere, that's who I want with me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he's the guy, man.
Yeah,
he's the guy you want beside you, right? For sure.
Absolutely, my
No
man.
doubt.
Absolutely. So we're pumped. We got a lot of questions. We got a lot to talk about. But the first thing we like to do is kind of like, and because Logan was kind of joking. I wonder if he's part of the CIA or like what's going on. Because we do a lot of research on our guests, and we couldn't find anything on you, bro. Like
Oh,
nothing.
yeah.
It was like, man,
Right
where's
on.
this guy's bio? So
Yeah.
let's start off with an introduction for the listeners, and for anybody that might not be familiar with you. Acting, was it something like you always kind of wanted to do? Was it something you knew from the very beginning, or did you kind of fall into it, or what?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I grew up on like a small island off the west coast of British Columbia.
Okay.
So like a couple hours out of Vancouver, and it's a real small town.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was born, there was like 800,000 people there.
Oh wow.
It's been gentrified heavily since. So now it's quite a destination spot
For sure.
But there was like a community theater group there, that I was kind of part of and stuff, and so but it was there was a lot of artists that lived there.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty like off the grid sort of place, right? So there was a lot of like hippies and rednecks was sort of the mix, and it was a pretty rural spot, and so there was a lot of people like living sort of alternative lifestyle out there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Back in those days and shit. So so there was a lot of that sort of stuff to get your teeth into, it for the most part. And then I'm from a construction family, so
Okay.
I'm a journeyman electrician and worked on a framing crew forever and all that stuff.
Nice.
So we were so that's how you made your money, and then you do that stuff every once in a while. But I was sort of one of my only guys in my crew that did that, and then I was doing one of these community plays one day, and this fella came, and he had been to New York City, and he'd been to the Big Apple, and he'd done all the acting stuff. And he came to see one of my plays, and he was like, "Hey, you're pretty fucking good at this. And, you should go to this place that I went to in New York." And I like ran home, Googled that shit, bought my plane ticket, and left pretty much the next day.
Nice, man.
And then as soon as I came out of the Port Authority, that was it for me. I was like, "Yep, this is the spot," and sort of
There we
went to
go.
school there, and
Hell yeah.
that's how it all started.
Nice.
Dude, that's what it's all about. Taking that risk, taking that leap, and just fucking
Oh,
hitting the ground
absolutely.
running, man. And it just sounds like that's what you did. And especially in no better place than New York City.
Oh, hell
That
yes,
place, you have the theater experience, and now you have the on-camera experience. That is the perfect place for you. And that's great to hear because your performance is outstanding in Mayor of Kingstown.
thanks.
Every time
Dude.
you hit the screen, we were like, oh, fuck yeah. Especially like those last two episodes where
What?
spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen the last two episodes of Mayor of Kingstown, but when you fucking infiltrate that fucking prison to rescue the brother and shit, and when
Yeah,
you're
man.
like, no, we're not just gonna rescue you, you gotta fucking
Yeah.
murder these motherfuckers so that you can see it through with your life. But dude,
Yeah, man.
every
Yeah.
like I said, every second that you're on screen, your talent just shines through, and
Oh.
kudos to you, man.
And my favorite
Thanks,
is
man.
before you even storm the prison, it's when you go into the tent with the state police and you tell them how the fuck it's gonna go down. It's like, what the fuck is
Yeah,
wrong with
man.
you guys, man? This is how it's gonna go down. Like I said,
Yeah.
from the first time we see you, you got to take care of it. Yeah, this guy's not going to jail. Understood. I'm gonna put a bullet in his head. It's fine. It's good.
cool, it's fine.
It's
Yeah,
like the best
yeah.
intro ever, man. It's like who
Yeah.
do you go to when you need help? Robert.
Yeah,
That's who you
well,
go to.
it was nice. It's nice to play a character where people feel safe with you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
Like
yeah.
you come in and you're sort of a bit of a fix-it guy, and so
That's
people are
right.
like, "Oh, okay, you're here." So you feel safe doing that. You're like, "Oh, I'm the guy that everyone's counting on." So you bring that with it, and it's really it's it's an absolute fucking treat to do something like that.
Oh, I bet. So talk about, because we may or may not have seen the audition. Talk about the audition process, and entering into that world, the Sheridan world, because this is like a freaking empire on Paramount Plus now. This guy's like everywhere doing everything. And Hugh Dillon co-created this one with him. But talk about that. Talk about the audition and just kind of like what it's like to work in that environment and be a part of that cast, man.
Oh man, I mean, it's a dream, I mean, like the audition process was pretty wild. It was really quick for me. It was tape, Friday, and you're fucking flying on Wednesday sort of deal.
Shit.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
So it was really quick for me,
Yeah.
And I guess he, saw the tape and he was like, okay, that's the guy. And from what I understand, they'd sort of been looking around and they couldn't find the right energy that they were looking for. And, I didn't come from a military background or anything like that, but I growing up in a blue collar family and working, hard construction jobs and shit, it was pretty easy for me to sort of slip into, that scene you're talking about. And when I'm, giving all the guys shit
Right.
in front of the prison, that was like pretty much my upbringing on a construction site.
Absolutely.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so I was just like, oh, you want me to do my stepdad? Okay, here you go. Boom. And
That's
Hell
it.
yeah.
Man.
that was it. Right. So it was pretty easy for me to fall into that. And so I think I brought that energy to it and they responded well to that, and then working with a crew like that, with a bunch of creators like that, it's just like, it's the dream, that's what
absolutely.
you always want to do. It's been the ambition from the start. When I saw Wind River, a long time ago.
Yep.
And that was like the first time that I was like, Taylor, who? Like, what is this?
Right.
Right.
That's and I saw that sort of that level of truth and grit and everything, and I was like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to be part of.
Yeah.
And so when I saw this audition come through, I was like, oh, I gotta kill myself to get this. Everything, pull out all the stops, sort of thing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. And it was really cool to be on that set because like Hugh and all these guys, this had been like a dream of his for a long time too.
Sure.
And so there was so many incredible things happening for pretty much everybody who was on that set. Everybody that I talked to was talking about like how this was quite a pinnacle sort of moment in their life, and how all these people were coming together to create this incredible story. And behind the scenes as well, people like on the crew and stuff, and everybody, there was just this feeling that you were creating something special, which was really nice.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, yeah, it really is special because I really haven't seen anything like this before. I mean, we always have the stereotypical like dirty cop story or the stereotypical like gang riots or like, infiltrating gangs, but you never really get the in between where you get like the prison liaison to have somebody on the inside and on the outside and try to keep the peace against all of the different gangs, and especially Jeremy Renner's character, who was actually like, when he was locked up, he was a part of a situation that he didn't necessarily agree with of who he was as a real person. So I think it's a very different aspect, and I think that's what's so great about Taylor's shows is because it brings different things to the audience that we either haven't seen in a while or we've never seen at all. So I think those are very special. And like, yeah, just your character in general. Like, I would take your guy and freaking Rip all day, every day. If I was going anywhere, like Rip from Yellowstone and you, like, I mean, nobody would mess with us.
Jesus,
Man,
can we do a crossover? Just get the two of y'all together in a room? That would be so badass.
Right on, man. Well, that dude, I've never met Cole Hauser, but that guy's incredible, man.
Oh,
so
dude,
put
man.
me in the same league as that dude. Like that's
Oh,
huge.
dude, you're
Really?
right there, my man.
You
You are
are.
right there.
That's kind of you guys. I admire his work a lot.
Oh, man. You know what I like that you said, though, and just kind of the way you were describing the crew and the whole atmosphere and creating something special and everything. I think that's a huge dynamic of the show, too. The family aspect to it, right?
Yeah,
and this blue-collar neighborhood and this blue-collar, basically, area to where you don't really have a choice. You're either, you're going to end up in prison or you're going to be a cop. You might be a good cop, bad cop, but you've really got, like, this is your choice, and one way or another, this is where you're going. And I kind of like how they deal with the family aspect of that, and what it means, like the mom character just continuously saying, your dad was this, and you had a choice, but you fell down this way anyway, and kind of, so to get that, and like you said, your guy, I feel like, is family. He's the one they call, they trust. Like, you got to get some shit done. We got to fix some shit. That's our guy. We trust him. He's family. I really like that. And I think that Taylor does a really good job. He's loyal. Man, you see so many people in different projects, right? Like, I feel like once you're a part of his family, you're a part of his family, and you could end up in any one of his projects anywhere, right? Like, talk about that a little bit, the family dynamic, because I feel like you guys have a really solid chemistry on set, and I feel like you've developed a family, man.
Totally, man. And I think that comes from knowing, comes from a lot of things. But one of the things is just knowing that you're working on something that's special.
Mm-hmm.
You're working on, so like you get the scripts and you read them and you're like, holy shit, because you read some stuff, you go for stuff that isn't as good as that.
Right.
And you do it, and that's just the gig, right?
Right.
But this was special when you read that shit, and everybody knew it, and the cast, everybody was so well put in their spots, like Taylor Handley, like Emma Laird, like Toby, all those guys are just so perfect where they are, and they really put together like an incredible crew. But I've never seen like somebody on set like Taylor Sheridan. Like I've never seen somebody take the whole thing by the horns.
Right.
He's a real cowboy. I mean, you see.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking unbelievable. And when I was a kid, when my folks split, my mom went and worked on a ranch for a while, and she was she's a cowboy essentially, and they were like that, they just had this way of taking the situation and making you feel super safe and guiding you in a direction. And the way that he would come on set and be like, everybody would gather around. He'd be like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to shoot it like this. Then we're going to shoot it like that. Then we're going to shoot it like that. Then we're going to shoot it like that. And then we're going to do this. And we're going to move in there. And then we're going to go home. And there was just this incredible, order of it, and the way that it moved. And we were all work together, and we all loved it. But we all, we're moving, and sometimes you get there and things are, and I think that him having such strong leadership and such strong vision was something that we could all really get behind and feel like we were in the right place. And his confidence in his work and in himself really spreads to you, because he chose, he's like, So also when you're doing something, when you're doing a scene and he says it's good, that means it's good.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
exactly.
You don't got to worry about that.
That's right. Because I feel like there's probably like that cowboy in him. He expects a certain level, right? Like he's bringing this, and he expects you to bring this, and he'll let you know when you don't, right? Like he'll tell you, great, that's good, but I'm getting a feeling he probably tells you when it's not too, right?
I would feel bad for the poor fucking bastard who showed up there unprepared. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
You just wouldn't. You just wouldn't, man.
And he's like a master of disguise too. Like in every show, I'm like, is that him? Wait a minute. It's like, man, that dude's scary, bro, but in the best way possible, man.
Yeah, but he's so cool. It's so welcome. He just creates this like this place where, and I think you were talking about like people moving from project to project and using, and he's an actor, right? So he knows when he finds somebody where they can speak the same language. Oh yeah, where they come to set prepared, where all that stuff, he doesn't let them go, and he's loyal that way, and so it seems so.
And that's how you get a lot of solid projects that way, when you trust people and you can bring them from project to project because you know what you're going to get. They know what he's going to give. And I mean, that's the way you build, like you said, something special.
Oh yeah, man. And it's like, it's like when you're building a house, you got a guy who does a good roof. Like why would you call somebody else?
That's right. Exactly right.
He's your man now, so bring him in.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Something I think that's really special about him too is that he writes the majority of the content he puts out, if not all of the content he puts out. Just having people to bounce ideas off of course, but at the end of the day, written by Taylor, and it's just like, holy holy shit, this guy never
Yeah.
stops. It really seems like
man.
he never stops.
Like,
And I mean, you
yeah.
we're getting so many more like Yellowstone spinoffs. I mean, fuck.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, you are. Man. Yeah, there's lots more coming. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've ever been around somebody like that. To
Right?
be honest with you, that's like, I don't know, for lack of a better word, like expanding at that rate.
Right.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Oh,
he gets on set, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this guy eating?
Right.
Man? Like, I need
Yeah.
some of that.
Yeah, man.
Like, how does
Yeah.
he keep going like
Yeah.
that?
How do you
and
write-
where are all these fucking scripts coming from?
Right.
You know, like,
Exactly. How do you write every script for 5,000 shows? Like, it's like,
Yeah.
that's mind-boggling how that happens.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
well, being around that though, right? And kind of like in that environment, and you've got all these people that he's brought in and all these different actors and these different crew people. Has that kind of swayed you to maybe want to take a turn behind the camera, kind of do some stuff, back behind it, or are you just wanting to stay in front, or what?
Yeah, I think I'm good to stay in front a little bit. You know, I mean, I've
feel
done
that.
some. I would work that way in the theater.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I've done a lot of plays, and I understand that medium really well, I think. But when it comes to filmmaking, I watched a first cut of something the other day that a friend of mine and I, he was working on, and I was like, what the fuck, and I had never really watched the first cut before, and he was like, oh no, we're gonna fix it like this and like this and like that, and
Yeah.
I was like,
Right.
oh okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But I when you watch somebody like that, like the things that he would say, just very simple things,
Right.
that he understood the medium so well.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did he have these brilliant ideas and he was an incredible writer, but he understood how to tell stories through film, like nobody I've seen, or like people that I'd worked with in the theater that understood that medium. You know what I
Right.
mean? And you're talking about him, like the story of Mayor of Kingstown, and how you've had cop shows and you've had prison shows, and this coming together. And I think his like genius comes through like the simplicity of the storytelling.
Right.
Right.
Like he just hooks these two ideas
does.
together, and that's genius. Like if you can make something nice and simple, a simple little story,
Yeah.
it's like really something else. Man.
And beyond genius when you mix simplicity with authenticity, because I feel like all of his stories are very authentic, right?
That is
You feel like
very
you can
well
just
said, man.
jump right
That
in
is
there
very well said.
and be a part of that life, be connected to
Yeah.
that life, because that's real. And it's got to be something awesome to be a part of that, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and that's absolutely true, because like you said, like authenticity is everything.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody, that's always what you're looking for in any piece of art or anything. Is some authentic expression. So and he does that like nobody's business, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Very
It's
cool.
all about finding people, like you were talking about with your buddy. It's all about finding people who can see the finished product before it's even close to being done.
Yeah.
This little part is going to move here, or this little part's going to move here,
Yeah.
or like there's going to be a caption right here, or something to that effect. And it's those people in filmmaking, in the entertainment industry, that make it so special and bring like creative people and very talented people like you in the place to shine where you can. And I mean, that's what I was going to bring up too. Like, you're very good at that blue collar type of role. I think that is like a very good niche to have, especially in today's time where we have so many of this type of content coming out. Is there anything that you would try to step outside of the box and want to try, or do you like staying in that blue collar role?
So blue collar jobs, that's sort of like my bread and butter. That's
Sure.
I do that pretty well, and that was what was really nice about working on this project. And it was like, here you go, here's a piece, and you show the things that you do like well.
Right.
One of my favorite actors is Oscar Isaac.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
because
man.
that dude, like he's always authentic and he's always there and he's never doing something weird,
Right.
But he can do anything.
Yeah.
And I would like you see him in Drive.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? That was fucking sweet, right? And
Oh,
he had that blue
absolutely, man.
collar sort of edge thing. You're
Hell
like,
yeah.
what's this guy gonna do? And what's his deal? And all
Yeah.
that shit. And then you just watch him in Dune.
Well,
know?
and you know
Or
what? It's
like,
funny that you brought him up because that goes back to that authenticity thing, right? Like I just saw an interview he did about why he took Moon Knight, and he said because we have all this prefabricated stuff and all these ideas of, and this script just felt handmade to me. Like I could come in and just craft this character authentic,
Cool.
you know. And so it's funny that you bring him up because, like
Yeah.
Logan said, you are very much like that. I feel like you are very much that actor that can come in and handmade and craft that role for you, and brilliantly so. And so we have to say, for anybody who didn't hear, it was recently announced that you guys are getting another season, a season 2.
Yeah.
So we're going to go on record right now and say we want a whole lot more of Robert.
Hey,
You know,
right on,
I'd
brother.
like to see a lot of that background story,
For
right?
sure.
Like, why is Robert that guy? Where is that story coming from? And you know Taylor's got it. There's no way he doesn't have a backstory for you. So, but
Yeah,
we would
yeah.
love to see that, man.
Yeah. Oh man, me too. Obviously, I mean, there's so much, you know.
Do you kind of have an idea? Do you have like where you think Robert comes from, and like, you know, have you thought about that?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I mean, you
yeah.
have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to feel like the guy, right? You know, I think I heard John C. Riley say one time, you know, in an interview that he was like, film acting is about knowing that you're the man for the job.
That's right.
You know, you got to step on the set knowing you're the guy.
Yep.
You know?
Right.
And so whatever you got to fucking do to do that.
That's right.
And one of the things I got to do is know, you know, where this guy was born and all that
Absolutely.
shit.
Yeah.
All of
Absolutely.
it.
So-
All of it. It's all about
so,
creating
yeah.
the story before even telling the story, you know? It's a great thing. I love this medium, man. It's so fucking fun.
Yeah.
Something else that I'm very curious about, because you're a badass, and like I said, I mean, you're very talented, and I just want to know, like, at the end of the day, what's your goal for your career? Like, where are you going to be when you sit back and be like, man, I really did that shit?
Well, I think it's there's a bunch of actors that I like admire and aspire to be like, and that's pretty, you know, sort of easy way to say that, like in terms of the kind of careers that they have.
Right.
But I think, you know, we're talking about today the topic seems to be authenticity, but I think that's it. It's like the more that I like fully engage with the work, and by that I mean like everything, like auditions, like doesn't matter what I'm doing, like it leads me towards the kind of things that I want to do. So I guess I want to feel like looking back on it, I want to feel like I, you know, was totally fulfilled. And I suppose like there's that wonderful thing about like the day before Picasso died, you know, I don't know if this is true, but apparently he was like, tomorrow I have to buy more paint.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's the sort of thing that, you know, I would like to have. I would like to be working right up until the
Hell
day,
yeah,
and,
man.
and having like more curiosity and more places to go, you know, because I feel like the longer I do it, the more there is to learn, you know,
Right.
the deeper
Yeah.
there is to go. You know
That's
what I mean?
right.
So I just want to make sure that everything's challenging me every time, sort of.
Yeah,
That
we
would be
talk
really
about that all
nice.
the time, man. The second that you feel like you have nothing left to learn, you're done.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
you know, you can never get to that point. There's always something that you can go to the next level with.
Yeah.
And going back to, because I like how you said that the theme seems to be the authenticity. And so let's talk about this, because we've been bringing this up in a lot of our past interviews, especially this year with everything that's kind of going on. Mental health. This storyline, you know, the subject matter and what you have, because you do get so into character and so involved with what you're portraying. How do you deal with the situation? How do you separate yourself? How do you maintain your mental health when dealing with this type subject matter and these type things? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I sort of learned that really working in the theater, you know, because you work on these plays and you do you do it 8 times a week, you know, so
Right.
you'd be doing the same thing. And if it was a really, like right before the pandemic, I was doing a show here in New York, and it was very dark, you know, and so it was super important for everybody involved that we take really good care of ourselves.
Sure.
Because you would get things would get pretty sad.
Can't imagine.
And the things that you have to, the things that I make sure I do is just, I have a really like I'm quite regimented in my practices in the morning, you know, with exercise, meditation, you know, make sure I'm eating right and all that shit, and just trying to make sure I'm not spreading myself too thin when I'm fully engaged in a project like that. You know,
you go.
it's like the work is everything, and part of the work is making sure that I'm okay so that I can do the work.
Oh,
you know,
well
so
said.
that means like you know, when I was younger and had more energy, I would, you know, go out to the bar after a show or something like that.
Right.
And, you just can't do that sort of shit.
No.
You know, you gotta, you have a very limited amount of energy, and you really got to take care of it.
That's
So,
right. You know, healthy body, healthy mind. It really does correlate. So
Yeah, man. And I think that, like, you know, I used to work at a school here in New York, and there was a lot of the students there was this myth about sort of the tortured artist that would like pull his like inspiration out of a wine bottle, you know what I mean? Sort of Jack Kerouac sort of stuff. And I feel like that's just not true for our generation anymore. You know, like we gotta take care of ourselves so much.
That's right.
And you know, so that's an interesting thing, you know, that you're bringing that up, because you talk to a lot of people about that, do you?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. Because I feel like it you know, now especially there's so much going on, and you don't know what's going on in somebody's life. You know, they might be the picture of, oh, they're so happy and everything's fine, and then we're reading about them committing suicide, or you know, you just don't know. It's so important these days to keep that stuff in check. So
yeah, and I think it's difficult too, like today, because of, you know, and this is quite a sort of cliched thing to say, but because of social media and stuff like
absolutely.
this, like everybody knows, or everybody's sort of expressing their thoughts all the time, which can be a very interesting thing. You know,
Absolutely.
it's can be a good thing for creativity. But if you hook into it, and you just got to be careful with how you engage with that shit, because you know, if you're not doing well, it can sort of magnify that for you.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. And I mean, this podcast, I think I told you, it's branded on helping the up and comers trying to break into the entertainment industry, and how to, you know, the do's and don'ts, and like the advices, and like, you know, the different like paths that every single different entertainer, actor, producer, director takes, and how that this person that is listening to the podcast can approach how they're going to break into it as well. So I mean, your story and the way that you told it, I think it's going to help a lot of people out.
Definitely.
And especially how to deal with stuff, because I mean, you know, it can be very overwhelming sometimes. I mean,
oh man,
we talk about it all the time. You basically audition 90% of the time, and you actually are acting about 10% of the time. So I mean, you know, it's not an industry. We don't like to say it's an industry full of rejection, but it's an industry full of selection.
Yes.
So I mean, you know, it's something like that.
Definitely, man, definitely. And it looks very different when you first approach it than you find that it actually is.
Sure.
You know.
Yep.
Like when I came to New York, I went to school here for a couple of years, and then after I got out of school, I was sort of just banging around trying to figure out why nobody had made me a movie star. You know what I mean? And, like, auditions and getting like rejected and stuff. And then I went, I did an MFA program in England, and we got to go to Russia for
there you go.
like you know, for 3 months and live and study there and shit like that, right? And that was really great, because I think I was going there expecting that they were going to give me this like magic pill that was going to make me super talented,
right,
the greatest actor in the world and all this shit. And I got there, and they were like, you know, here's the steps, work hard, kid, take care of yourself. You know?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, man, and it fucking blew my mind.
Yeah,
you know? It
right.
dispelled all these mysteries around Stanislavski and stuff, and I came back with the understanding, because the way that they had put it to me over there was like, you are a tradesperson, and you know, just like a carpenter, your tools are you. And so what you guys are saying about like making sure you're a healthy body, healthy mind, you know, healthy work, then that's what, you know, the Russians really like instilled in their actors, and like gave to me. You know, that's what I brought back from there. For sure.
And so that brings it full circle, right? Like, you're a blue collar guy, you work hard for a living, that's your family, that's your life. You get into the acting thing and you think, oh no, I'm just going to be a movie star. And then Russia says, it's hard work. You got to put in order. So full circle, right back, right? It's like,
circle,
man. You know, you're blue collar. You got to work for this shit too.
I never thought of it that way, but absolutely.
So slap back into reality thanks to the Russians. There you go.
That's so funny, man. But listen, thank you so much for taking some time out of your night and coming to talk with us and get crazy. We really appreciate it. And of course, we love Mayor of Kingstown. Loved every second of it. I'm watching it my second time right now. So I mean,
Right
you know,
on.
like, dude, it's absolutely amazing. Super excited for season 2. And yeah, I mean, like you said, you brought it up earlier, social media. Where can people follow you? Because we want you to get that necessary
I'm just
attention.
on Instagram.
Gotcha.
Hamish Allan-Headley. Yeah, I'm just on it. That's the only one I'm on right now.
Fantastic.
Yeah, but thanks, guys. I just wanted to say too, like the news portion of your podcast
Yeah.
Yeah.
is incredible, dude. It's
Oh,
incredible.
thank
dude,
you.
thank you so
you
much.
guys, man, you guys are doing a huge service to like a lot of especially up and comers, but also like I was listening to that and I was like, whoa, and I was hearing all this shit and I was like, oh man, that's great, and like taking notes and stuff, you know. So it's like that, and because there isn't, I haven't found a news source that is as thorough as you guys. So,
Well,
thank you.
man, thank you, dude.
Yeah,
we
that means a
really
lot.
appreciate that because I think it's important to know the business that you're trying to
Oh.
work in, right? And you know,
100%.
so we try to put that in there. As much fun as we have, we try to make it informative too. So to be recognized for that, dude, we greatly appreciate that, man.
Yeah, right on. Well, thanks a lot, guys.
Of course,
It's
dude.
been a
And
pleasure.
open invite, man. Anytime you want to come back and shoot the shit, talk about anything you want, dude, just come on, man. We'll have you.
Oh, right on, boys. Yeah, I'll be back for sure.
Hell yeah, man. And like I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
the hat, dude. Anytime you like, as soon as you popped up, like, hell yeah, this guy's cool.
Yeah, go Yankees.
That's right, man. Go
Absolutely.
Yankees. All right, dude. Take care, man, and we'll
All
holler
right.
at you soon, buddy.
Yeah, thanks a lot, boys.
Uh-huh.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Oh boy, that was fucking awesome.
Oh my god, dude, that's like the most straight up, just like real guy,
Real.
right? Like I'm a blue collar guy. I'm
Yes,
a blue
sir.
collar actor. I'm a blue collar. It was so awesome.
Yes, sir. And you know, my creative brain, while we were talking to him, my creative brain, the juices were flowing. Him and Matt Hamilton in a buddy cop film.
Holy shit.
That would be
Holy
great.
shit. How amazing would that be?
That would be
with
so
maybe
great.
Cole Hauser as the boss.
Yes.
Right, like bring in Rip as the boss. Oh my god, that would be Taylor. Write that shit, or
Write
we'll
it.
write that
Or
shit. Whatever.
Hugh or
Like, yeah,
somebody
do
write that.
That would be fucking epic.
But I mean, so fun. That was great.
I could see him and Matt Hamilton together.
Right?
Like that would be epic.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Exactly. Thank you again, Hamish, for coming on the show.